my eldest daughter, who's 6, came to The Hobbit, premiere with me and fell in love with Kate Blanchett's little son Roman. Like the highlight of the whole thing was watching her running around, Roman going. I was looking at Kate Blanchett going, and she was going. No, she didn't. She's lovely. But yeah. I mean, look, I do fairly, full-on roles right now. So, I'm figuring one day they'll know how much I put into it. And they'll understand. Hopefully, I can be yeah, I think so. Yeah, mate.
How hard was it to, go from Andy to Liam and at the same time a new Navia? So that's your foe turned brother and your love interest of the show.
Yeah,
changed.
The big challenge was right across the board with Spartacus. It was right across the board. I mean, at the time, he heard that I choked the guy. I was only pretending, Batman.
I thought he was acting.
But anyway, yeah, so the big challenge at the time was more so as a production. We were really facing being axed. Chris Albrecht, who was at the time the kingpin of HBO, was new to STARZ Network, had just taken the reins, and actually he verbally said that this show will never work if you've got to change the lead actor. It will never work. And so he'd just taken over controlling STARZ, but the money people at STARZ argued against him and convinced the network and its investors that money was still being made by Spartacus and they should have a go at it. And Stephen Knight, our writer, wrote a very, very good pitch that we could continue by pitching Gods of the Arena. Yeah, which was a prequel. So, and Gods of the Arena ended up being brilliant, because of Stephen Knight's writing, super, super idea. And it enriched all of the characters hugely. We just felt so much more for the characters. But the thing is that we were really at a point where we were fighting for, for survival, and so, when the news came when Andy was really in a bad way, and but then condoned that STARZ go out and find a new Spartacus, I met they brought 3 guys in to read for the role. Spartacus, one of them, 3 guys came in to read for Spartacus to replace Andy in the role, and one of them was Stephen Amell from Arrow, who I'm working with now. Stephen Amell was one. There was a dark-haired guy that had been in a New York drama. Really good-looking guy. I had this feeling like he might get it because of his looks, but he got drunk and went out that night and yelled out in the middle of a bar, "I am Spartacus." The producers heard about it, and he never got the role. So you got to be real careful. Like and then Liam was there, and each of these guys I sort of got with because I had to play the scene that they auditioned them for was one of them anyway was the scene that I did with Andy Whitfield where we shook hands and we said, well then one of us will die tomorrow in the arena. It was in episode 13 of the first series where he came to me to look for help to unite us to rebel against Vadiatus, and I said I couldn't do it because I had to save Navia. And then he went to me and this sort of big handshake. So that was the scene, and it really needed so much grounding to it. Characters had to be so familiar with themselves. So I sort of went and met these guys in their caravans and tried to have just a real heart-to-heart with them. And Liam was just a really, I didn't really think Liam was going to get the role because he was super nervous and he was super, but one thing about Liam, and hats off to the producers, but he had a real humble nature about him, super humble. And he remained to be that from day one to the very final day of our production. He was just such a humble guy who really became a man through our show. I think he's done wonderful things since his first day in Spartacus. Right from the last 2 episodes of Spartacus in War of the Damned, he just went to another level. In the last couple of episodes, he really rose up and did that. But going on to camera with him at the time and going on to camera with Cynthia instead of Navia was it was my responsibility not to change, because I was the common denominator. I could only accept what they gave and try to stay in Crixus mode. And that's what I did. I remember one of the first scenes that I had with Liam, I was in his face, you know, and you know, but this is the difference. I was in his face and yelling at him, and he turned around to me and he had this energy as well, and he ended up sort of yelling back at me. If it had been Andy Whitfield would never have yelled at me. He would have just assessed me and then just be his own man. It took time for Liam to cook and realise that he didn't have to do anything really but what the character believed in. And so, you know, it took a little, but you know, I mean, he came straight out of nowhere, straight into the shoes of Spartacus, you know, and it took him time to cook. But he gradually, you know, became part of the soup. But the reason why our show survived was because everybody, whether it be the costume or lighting or the whatever departments, we were all fighting as a team to make this show work. And everyone was really good. I mean, our lighting guys and our camera guys were humble, and our costume people were unbelievable. Unbelievable. Every time I had to walk in and go into for a new, you know, outfit for a new arena fight, there was this guy called Wild Man who was like straight out of like 74 BC when this was shot, you know. Big long haired guy, go out and crack a whip during lunchtime and with leathers. He lived in a big bus that looked like the Munsters bus on the side of the, I mean, this guy made our leather and he was just like, oh, Crixus, I got a new outfit for you, you know, and people were living this show, you know, really key people who were great to do the individual parts of it, but,
Man,
you know.
excuse me, sorry. I fit over, right, time-wise.
In Arrow, there's wonderful things going on right now. As soon as you get into about episode 8 of season 2, you're going to see some great shape-shifting, and you know, that's one of the great things about being an actor is that, you know, this kind of like, it's like a piece of piano music that I'm playing where I don't really know where it's going to go to on the next page, and I just got to turn it over and keep on going. But every time I get one of these really juicy roles like Crixus or like Slade Wilson becoming, you know, his next phase of this show, I keep on turning the page and it's getting more interesting, you know, and it's like Frank Mananoff. It's like, you know, I'm not going to need the 5-hour energy drink. It's all coming. It's all coming. Hey, look, thank you very, very much, everybody.
By the news table, everyone, if you got it already. Everybody